never bothered these fans, that's for sure. They were out early and ready to go as we get set for one of the best rivalries in college hockey. Today from Alfond Arena, it is the New Hampshire Wildcats and the 11th ranked Maine Black Bears. UNH winners of 2 games in a row, trying to get a momentum-setting win at the end of the year against Maine. It is so great to be here with you along with Jim Connolly. I'm Eric Lanty. New Hampshire was down a couple of weeks ago against UConn. They scored 3 goals in the third period. All of a sudden, they won 2 games in a row, and now will take on their big rivals in Maine, who are playing for their first time in a week and a half.
It's certainly, this is the game that you kind of circle when the season schedule comes out, when everything is in front of you. You're like, this is the one you want to see this weekend up in Orono. The rivalry is one thing, but it's also the game that you realize you need to win these games to have good momentum as you head toward break.
And they're important just for the sake of where these 2 teams are, certainly as well. Let's talk about New Hampshire, and let's talk about Jacob Newcomb, who was so good the last couple of weeks here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Jacob Newcomb is playing some great hockey for New Hampshire. He scored 3 goals, 4 points in his last 2 games. Newcomb is heavy on pucks. He shows great agility, and his coach Mike Sousa describes him as more of a shoveler of a puck than a shooter. In other words, he finds ways to get pucks to the net. That's paying dividends for these Wildcats. On the other side, for the University of Maine, Owen Fowler. Owen Fowler has been as strong for Maine as he has at any point in his time here. He has often been overlooked, his coach Ben Barr says. Fowler plays with an edge. He's not the biggest guy on the ice, but he wins puck battles. He throws his weight around, and more importantly, he creates scoring chances for this Maine team. He's one of those players who you absolutely love if he plays for your team. You love to hate him if he plays for the opposition.
December is here, and this great rivalry renews for the first of 2 this weekend. New Hampshire and Maine. We have puck drop coming up on the other side here on Friday Night Hockey East on NESN. Heather Rose with the national anthem here at Alfond Arena as we get set for Maine and New Hampshire for the first time this year. These 2 classic rivals getting together once again. The goaltending matchup today, a bit of an interesting one. Let's go there first. And let's take a look at our starting goaltenders, presented by Agnelli Law Offices, attorneys who once protected the nets, but who now protect your workers' compensation rights. Kyle Chauvette really bounced back well against Bentley after not playing in that second game against UConn. Jared Whale getting the win, then a 22-save shutout on the road at Bentley last week. The interesting notes on the other side, as Ben Barr rides his hot hand, it was a hot hand 2 weeks ago, but a hot hand nonetheless. Mattis Russo, who shut out Boston College in Maine's last game on November 22nd, a 21-save shutout against the Eagles, ending their 5-game win streak. Russo gets the start in goal today. So Ben Barr rides his hot hand and goes with his freshman goaltender today.
I think it's a smart move. You know, you have to go with the feel you have. And when we talked to him earlier this week, I think it was Tuesday, he said, I don't know where we're going with goaltending this weekend. He wanted to let practice play out. But you watched that game against Boston College a week ago Saturday, and Russo was so solid. And it became almost a unifying factor for Maine in that game to bounce back on the road against a good BC team. So Russo gets the opportunity here against the biggest rival for the Maine Black Bears.
Maine is 8-5-1, 5-3 in Hockey East play. New Hampshire 7-7 with consecutive victories, 3-4 in Hockey East this year. Charlie Russell starts up the wall for Maine. Reverse jerseys today with a blue out here at the Alfond. So Maine going with their classic road uniforms, New Hampshire in white tonight. As Card tries to play it around, good pressure put on by Max Scott for the Black Bears, and it's dumped out to center. So again, Maine did not play last week. They split at Boston College in their last series. Maine, who's been so good in this building, 6-2 this year, though those 2 losses, obviously a little bit of surprise at times, but 8-5-1 overall as the Black Bears. This becomes really important. They still have, including today, 5 games left before the break. this series. They'll play Lowell on Wednesday down in Portland, and then 2 against Lindenwood next weekend. Here is Marcus reaching forward on a backhand. J.P. Turner in there for New Hampshire. And the Wildcats try to start out. Not out, though, yet. It's loose on the doorstep, side of the net. Sholey reaching for it, and it somehow stays out.
Sully Sholey looked like he had a wide open net here, Eric, and somehow did not get this one.
I think it looked like it because he did. It kind of just sat a little bit, and then it ends up slightly behind Chauvette.
Yeah, I think it might.
Sholey, whether he got a full stick on it or not.
I thought he might have hit the post.
Yeah. So Maine putting some pressure on. It looked like New Hampshire was going to have a chance to get the puck out. They could not clear the zone. Now it's turned over. Oliver, good pass across, and the shot from Straskins is knocked down with Sholey, the Maine Black Bear, out front. Here comes Cy Leclerc back in, and a glove save by Russo.
And for the first time this weekend, we get a little bit of after the whistle bumping. These two teams are no strangers to some after the whistle extracurricular activities. We see this opportunity here. Easy glove save right there for Rousseau. I think when we got out of the car today, Eric, it was about 18 degrees Fahrenheit, but the crowd
didn't feel that way.
Yeah, the crowd was still about, I don't know, maybe 100 students outside. And we found out they don't have to do that anymore. The ticket process is not a first come, first serve on day of game. You can get the tickets earlier in the week, but the traditions here are traditions.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. Centering pass for Nadeau got clipped. Jurasevich from the outside, missed shot wide. So Bodie Nobes back in the lineup today for Maine. First time we've seen him in a bit. Grayson Arnott out there as well, his first game. There's Jurasevich from the outside. That missed wide. Nobes comes back down the wall. The big news on the New Hampshire side, Marty Lavins is back playing his first game for New Hampshire since the opening series of the year against Michigan State. That's a huge addition for this New Hampshire team. That is turned over. Maine still in. Nadeau shot is knocked away by Chauvette. Then behind the net, Jurasevich. What a great shift in the offensive zone here for May. Komarov's shot is knocked down by Chauvette. He's had to make a bunch of saves early on. Jurasevich from the outside. That got knocked down and misses off the side of the net. Komarov got to it once again. New Hampshire's got to find a way to get this puck out. Jurasevich's shot knocked off Nadeau and ends up behind the net. Once more, Jurasevich can't keep it in there. And finally, New Hampshire can change.
That was all cycling. And it was winning puck battles. Every time there was a 50-50 puck, it was Maine that was coming out with it, just unable to keep the puck in at the point there is Jurasevich.
That's what Maine can do. What a good offensive shift, playing right underneath the student section here at the Alphond. There is the aforementioned Marty Lavins, who's back today. Stretch pass up ahead for Morgan Winters as he gets there first in the corner against Brandon Holt. Sets up a chance for Ring. Hit a stick on the way through. And Pichette got bumped into the wall by Nick Ring, and an even bigger hit coming from Alex Carr. The other news on the New Hampshire side in terms of the personnel today, Felix Gagnon, who was banged up in the game against Bentley, he is out tonight, missing his first game of the year. Really key contributor, a freshman out of the Q in major juniors. So you get one back. In Lavins, though, that's a really important piece for New Hampshire. And Lavins going to the puck now. This is physical early on between these two great rivals.
Yeah, incredible physical battle here early. Both teams ready to throw the body along the boards. Watch these and watch for some reverse hits. You know, guys that are aware that the check is coming, they're ready to throw the body right back.
Here is Max Scott, tried to center up for Russell. It was on his skates. Ends up being guided to the corner. Where New Hampshire can start out. Jason Seedham knocks it to center for the Wildcats. #153rd all-time meeting between these two great rivals. Seedham knocks it back in. There's a tip from Fowler. Couldn't get it beyond the New Hampshire defense. These two teams traditionally are two of the best in limiting the shot opportunities of their opponents, and you don't expect there to be much open ice in a game like this.
You say that, and then we'll end up with an 8-5 type of game. But you're right, these two teams do a really good job, I think, playing a good defensive zone. They keep you to the outside. Even on the penalty kill, I feel like both of these teams' penalty kills don't allow you. Power plays a lot, so there's going to be kind of a push versus pull here between the two defenses here in both offenses, which we know that New Hampshire's good in transition. Maine is just good in their cycle and their zone work. So we're going to see where this offense can go tonight.
Josh Nadeau's going to get to this puck first in the corner. Working against Ryan Philbrick, it's back for Nobes. Maine really likes to use the wall behind their net to try to create when they're in the offensive zone, especially here at home in these tight corners. Lipinski skating out away from Philbrick. Lipinski staying on it for Chabrier. Straight on shot, tried to go across the grain with it, ended up missing wide. So shots on goal are 4-0. The attempts are 9-3 in favor of Maine. So for as much time as they've had, not as many of these chances have been on goal.
I mean, everything that Maine has taken thus far, except maybe that Scholey opportunity, everything else has come from the point. They're really trying to use the traffic in front, doing a good job, very disciplined to get the body there. They have traffic in front of the goaltender.
Scholey flips it forward, uses the wall to get it to Fowler. Tried to return the favor, but Leclerc blew a tire behind the net. And the students will let him hear that, overhanging just above.
Possibly one of the best student sections in the country, not just for the students themselves, but for the location.
Absolutely. There is Brandon Holt, who starts through center and will chip it in. We were talking with Brendan Fitzgerald this week of UNH, and not that New Hampshire people like all that much about the University of Maine, but he talked about how excited, how much they love playing in this building, getting booed the way they do. It's all part of this classic rivalry. There's a centering pass. Good try with Komarov right there for a tip play, and they just couldn't quite connect on it. Will Gerrois on this fourth line with Komarov and Pichette doing good work. Another chance for Komarov on his stick. New Hampshire gets there, and so far Maine has been the aggressor here in the early going of the first period.
For UNH, they really haven't had much possession time in their offensive zone. That's something that Mike Souza needs to change really quickly.
Ronan Walsh reaching for it, but Jurasevich was safely on it, and Walsh fires a hit on Nobes, and it's going to be called a penalty for it. So after Nobes had already gotten rid of the puck, Ronan Walsh throws a hit right along the boards, and the officials are going to call that once Maine gets an opportunity with an extra skater on the ice, with Mattis Rousseau to his bench. Russell starts up through the neutral zone. Lavin's got a good hit in, and then an even bigger one from Winters, and it's touched up there. So the Black Bears will have an opportunity on the power play with 12:05 remaining here in the first period when we return to the Alphond.
UNH over 10, 2 minutes slashing.
A slash called against New Hampshire. So good to be with you today. Come on back with us. UNH and Maine here from Alphond Arena. So let's take a look at the penalty. You'll get it from the reverse angle here. Watch Walsh as he goes in. Puck is gone. There's the hit delivered, and so that's why the penalty is called against New Hampshire.
The slashing was the call. Looked more like a boarding hit from
maybe,
behind,
yeah.
but yeah, slashing was the call. Regardless, a power play here for the Black Bears, a chance early here with the man advantage.
Maine is just under 18% on their power play this year, 9th in Hockey East. They scored 1 over the weekend against Boston College a couple of weeks ago, 1 for 6. Nadeau for Brandon Holt, who quarterbacks, and it's Poirier who scored that power play goal against the Eagles. Poirier, one-timer, good save, Chavette. Best one he's had to make of all of these Maine chances early in this game, and New Hampshire clears.
Winning the face-off there for Maine, that's a big part of it. They set up and get that first opportunity there.
New Hampshire traditionally has been pretty good on the kill. This year, 82%, 28th in the country as that shot comes in from Max Scott. And it's fought off by Chauvette. And J.P. Turner lost his footing in the defensive zone. Nadeau got a piece of it, but it's still New Hampshire on it. And the Wildcats can clear. 1:06 remaining of power play time here for Maine as we play in the first period. Brandon Holtz using his speed against Fitzgerald. That is kept in on a good forecheck on the first effort, but then the second effort, New Hampshire does get it out. Good kill so far here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Maine really unable to establish much inside their zone, and that's credit to UNH. Their penalty killers able to take advantage of any bouncing pucks, any type of opportunity to clear that puck down.
Here is Russell. Coming along the wall, Charlie Russell cycling with it. And Maine can set up. Peterson walks in, plays it across on the offhand of Jurasevich. Back up top for Russell, and Jurasevich once more. And now it's Peterson who comes down, a glove save, rebound loose in front. Marcus got a piece of it, but it missed wide. Lucas Peterson again for Fowler. His shot is blocked as Philbrick goes down to a knee. Marcus pulls it off the wall, goes back for Peterson. Walking down the slot, Peterson's shot is blocked by Philbrick. Marcus again picks it up. Final seconds of the penalty come off. Back to even strength hockey. Walsh comes right in. Really had to because of where the puck was. Maine still working in their offensive end with Miguel Marcus, who gets knocked from behind by Philbrick. Here is Jurasevich for Peterson. Open ice again. Little fake and a nifty one at that. Jurasevich for Peterson. One-timer missed wide. Jurasevich comes down the wall again, fires loose in front, looking for a little tip. It's still available for the moment. Now Fowler's on it, Marcus as well, and Chauvette had to make a save on it. And it finally comes out of the zone once again. What a start for the Maine Black Bears tonight. Everything but the goal to this point. Shots on goal, 7-0 Maine.
Arguably, the 5-on-5 time after the power play was the better possession time for the Black Bears than it was the power play itself.
Komarov comes in, it's loose in front. Good swipe play by Oliver to knock it to center. Even crazier than the shots on goal, Jimmy. Shot attempts 21-3 in favor of Maine in the first 11 minutes of this first period. That gets knocked down at center ice, and the faceoff will come back in front of Chauvette, who's been a hard worker so far. No score, Maine and New Hampshire. You're watching Friday Night Hockey East on NESN.
Welcome back to Alfond Arena, where the Maine Black Bears are taking on the UNH Wildcats in tonight's long-anticipated Bortle Battle rivalry. Now, the teams first met here in 1979, but the rivalry came to a head in 1999 as the two teams faced off in the Hockey East Championship matchup. Now, assistant coach Alfie Michaud was the goalie for that team and led the team to a 3-2 overtime win. And the head coach Mike Sousa of UNH was also on that team. And back to you guys.
It really is amazing. You know, it's 1999 is a long time ago now, but it feels like you can't talk about this rivalry without talking about that game. It just looms so large over the whole history of this rivalry, which is obviously a lot more than one game, but it's such a crucial piece.
You know, to think of those two teams meeting in a national title game, and you know, I know that BC and BU played for a national title, but Michigan State, Michigan, I don't think they've ever played for one. You know, it's
might,
unreal
the way
to think
things
of,
are going right now.
maybe
but
this year.
That's a conversation
but
for
you
later.
know, you think of some of the great rivalries that haven't played the big games against each other. To have this one have been on the biggest stage out there in Anaheim in '99. And that was a great game. If anybody saw or was at that game, I happened to be at that game. You know, 2-0 comeback from New Hampshire to force the overtime, and then, of course, the great goal by Gustafson to win it.
Based on some of the jerseys you see in the crowd today, I'd say a lot of these folks were at that game as well.
Potentially.
Here's Winters, who plays it across, looking for Nick Ring, and it's Poirier back to get it for Maine. So glad to be with you here from Alfond, Eric, Jimmy, and Allison, for this great rivalry matchup, Maine and New Hampshire. Scott reaching for it. There was a big hit behind the play. Nothing called. It's going to be physical between these two teams, especially night number one. Peterson tried to stretch pass. It was knocked down on the line by Winters. So let's kind of dive into where we are right now. Maine has 22 attempts in this game. New Hampshire has just 3. Still looking for their first shot on goal. Let's see if it comes here. We'll continue that conversation in a moment as Turner working behind the net with Peterson the closest Black Bear to him. Turner still looking, centers up. Was trying to get it to Cam McDonald, couldn't quite connect. Now right in front, Turner was trying to drag it in front. Peterson got a stick on it. Nobes there as well. That's turned over. Good chances stopped by Russo. First opportunity on goal for New Hampshire. Another one is tipped. It hit McDonald's skate and ends up missing the net wide. Jacob Newcomb had the first opportunity for New Hampshire. Now Lipinski trying to come back in, and Fitzgerald turns it over. Nadeau's shot is blockered away by Chauvette. Friel couldn't take it off the wall, and then it's knocked to center. For all of those chances, as long as the score is 0, which it is right now, if you're New Hampshire, it's just about, okay, reset, try not to turn it over like that, as it nearly comes out to center, and then it's whacked back in. Onside still for Maine.
Yeah, probably, if you're Mike Souza, the only thing you're pleased about right now is the 0-0 score.
And because your goaltender.
Your team has not come out and started this game on time.
Jurasevich plays it to the middle. Sholey wide for Nadeau. Nadeau plays it across. Good break up by Cy Leclerc. But then a chance from the outside actually hit Nadeau's stick, which was in the crease, but it deflected off and back towards the blue line before the puck is iced with 6:31 to go.
That one felt like it was right there for Nadeau. Puck got on his stick. See it from the overhead here. Perfect setup, just not the right timing.
So shots on goal up to 9-1. We have seen this a couple of times from Maine, and it has been the first game of a couple of these Hockey East weekends. You go back a couple of weeks now, the UMass series early in the month, Maine dominated that Thursday game. The Vermont game, Maine had a really nice win. Even the Boston College first game, which Maine lost, they dominated the first 10 minutes of that game. It was a penalty and then a BC power play that turned the tide of things. The problem for Ben Barr in his conversation a lot recently has been finding the consistency to have this every moment, where Maine has split a bunch of these weekends, as most Hockey East teams have done to this point this year.
Yeah, we've heard that word from a lot of coaches this year, haven't we? Consistency.
It really is amazing.
maybe the word we should hear is inconsistency, because that seems to be the issue amongst almost every team in this league.
Yeah, we're lucky to talk to all these coaches this week, and sometimes you get coach speak, sometimes you get all. I mean, I can't tell you how much what we've seen in terms of all of these split weekends matches up with what we're hearing from these coaches. The highs are really high, the lows are kind of low, and it's just about finding consistency within that process. It's basically the theme of every team right now in Hockey East, and really it feels like in some ways in the country, in what's been an interesting year with a lot of new things happening across college hockey. Daharo reaching for it, plays it back to center. Giroir was on it. Now Nobes, who's been active here, Bodie Nobes, playing just his second game over the last 5 weekends for Maine. There's just so much depth defensively for Maine. Nobes was the one, and Holt as well, trying to pull it off the wall. And here comes Morgan Winters, back for New Hampshire. Winters with 6 goals this season. He came into the weekend 7th in Hockey East in goals per game. One of the captains of the Wildcats this year. Big hitting all over the ice. As Connor Daharo back to start the breakout for New Hampshire. And Lavin's pass was a little bit out in front of ring, and then Lavin's got knocked down behind the play. And the officials will whistle play down. Lavins, who was hit in the neutral zone, and there was no penalty called on the play with 4:41 to go in the first period.
Which, if you are thinking about challenging this, the only way you could get a penalty would be to have a major in this case here. So
get a look at it. Right there is Russell and Lavins kind of coming together awkwardly. Good to see Lavins up. As he gets checked on the blue line with 4:41 remaining in the first. No score between Maine and New Hampshire. Lavins to the bench. No score. UNH and Maine will be back in a moment. So 4:41 remaining in the first. You'll see it here is kind of two guys connecting at center. Lavins is the one who ends up worse for wear. New Hampshire did not elect to challenge anything, and remember there was no penalty called on the ice.
Yeah, I think it's the right move not to challenge. That's a really high bar to get that to be a major penalty. It just felt like a hit that surprised Lavins more than anything. Came from the side more than it did on head on.
Yeah, in college hockey, point of contact is really the crucial piece and has to be in the head to make that a major penalty call. So they elect not to challenge, and we play on, and that is whistled down behind the play with 4:20 remaining in the first period. Again, shots on goal 9-1 in favor of Maine. Attempts are 24-5. It feels like the momentum, you know, is balancing at least a bit as this period has gone on.
I feel like New Hampshire has survived at this point. You know, the onslaught that they faced in the first 6 minutes of this game was what they had to survive. They did a good job with that. Now it's just finding ways to generate some opportunities at the other end.
It felt like one of those moments where you're thinking about, can we survive at only 1-0? This has been surviving still with no score.
That play was offside again, right away off the face-off, so another whistle.
So a little bit of starts and stops here with 4:14 remaining in the first period. First of two this weekend for Maine and New Hampshire. This is really a crucial stretch for the New Hampshire Wildcats. Again, winners of 2 games in a row. They had that upset on the road against Connecticut, and then last weekend in their solo game going on the road again and shutting out Bentley. But you get these 2 games against Maine, and then next week in their other rivalry game in state against Dartmouth, who, oh, by the way, is the #1 team in the NPI coming into play this week. Still unbeaten.
They have been on fire. Reed Cashman has done a great job with that team out of the gate this season, scoring a ton of goals. That should be a great game a week from Sunday in Durham.
So New Hampshire has 2 really key road wins, the UConn one that we talked about. And no matter what happens, New Hampshire obviously has work to do to, you know, get some wins and get to a position to make this valuable. So first, let's watch Carr plays it in. New Hampshire has the best win of any team in the country this year. If we were looking at it like a college basketball resume, as here's a chance, LeClaire reaching for it. Good play by Nadeau to come back. No one has a better win than at Michigan State, which New Hampshire went on opening night for Michigan State and went and beat the Spartans.
Michigan State ran off 9 in a row after that loss.
Yes, they did. Lipinski against the wall, and it's knocked to center on a backhand. Peterson and Holtz, been a good defense pairing for Maine. Peterson looked really good on that power play sequence, then even the 5-on-5 sequence after the power play. First-year player from New Jersey out of the USHL, where he was second in that league last year among defensemen with 44 points. Scholey goes wide for Owen Fowler, plays it across, nobody there on the tip. Scholey a couple of times, I've seen him in front. Now Fowler, and he couldn't get a shot away. Was open in the slot again.
Overskated the pass, Fowler
a little
did.
bit. Peterson comes down and now walking the line. Peterson moving in. Peterson missed high.
He's fun to watch.
Yes, he is. Listed as just 5'10", 168 pounds, the first-year defenseman with 6 assists so far in his freshman season for Maine.
Great skater with the puck, though. Every time he has the puck, especially in the offensive zone, he can go for long, circuitous routes around the zone. He is a great skater. This puck just cleared up and into the bench, so we'll get a neutral zone face-off here as we get a little bit more after the whistle. It has not been as penalty-filled as you might imagine, just one minor thus far.
Yeah, mostly clean, just good, clean college hockey between two great rivals. This Komarov line's really been effective for Maine. Listed fourth on the card, Gerrois, Komarov, and Pochette. And they win a face-off as well. Both these teams are good face-off teams. New Hampshire has won the majority today. They've won 9 of the 13 face-offs. New Hampshire came in second in Hockey East, 13th nationally in face-off percentage. Maine right behind them, 14th nationally, both over 52%. McDonald takes it off the wall, shot missed wide. Newcomb reaching for it for New Hampshire, plays the backhand in, but nobody home. And it's Pochette who got knocked off at center, and that was down for icing.
I sit here with less than 2 minutes left, and I feel like Maine is almost stunned that they haven't scored, that they don't have a lead in this game. The way that they have played this period, advantage not just territorially, but shots, shot attempts, 26-6 right now, shot attempts.
And I'm gonna guess that Ben Barr would say even more than the 0, it's the ratio of the 9 shots on goal to 26 attempts that he's looking to, you know, kind of have those two numbers come a little closer together as the period goes
6
on.
blocks already for New Hampshire. Lot missing the net.
So out of play in the final minute 43 of the first period. That is a brave baby in enemy territory.
You might as well get used to the rivalry. You know, border battles start young.
Chabrier and Oliver together along the wall. From the outside, that's skipped wide. Couple of chances from Alex Carr, first-year defender from Alberta, who played in major juniors in Quebec. Here's Russell. Russell plays it all the way across. It hits Scott. I think he was trying to go all the way wide to Poirier there. Charlie Russell saw it for a moment before Cy Leclerc takes it away. From the outside, Poirier rips a shot that missed high. Another kind of shot from the outside, a little bit of a deflection. And to the point we were making about the shots on goal, remember, that's both of these teams' bread and butter, right? Taking away shots on goal. They're 2 of the best in the country consistently at doing that. Chabrier and a backhand for Nadeau. Nice little move to get around Winters. Holt keeps it in, turns it right back towards the net. It was intercepted. There was a chance for Winters forward momentarily. Rink comes back in, plays it across, looking for a tip from Marty Lavins, and it deflects out of play.
There was some room to get that puck up
Just a little bit of room.
But I think it was one of those plays that if you make it, it's a high-risk pass. The reward is there if it connects, but if you miss on that, that could go the other way. So I understood why the Wildcats didn't take that option coming up the ice, but you could see the aggravation in Morgan Winters' face or body language on the ice.
Especially when the period has gone the way it has, but
just to even the thought that you could get a shot here late, some sort of an opportunity here late.
Another defensive zone face-off won by the Black Bears. Jurasevich does a nice job to help force it out. Now Friel in the final 7 seconds of period number 1. Comes loose for Jurasevich. Is there a look? Lavins with a good effort, and that does it for the first period. A good physical border battle between Maine and New Hampshire. And despite 27 attempts and 9 shots on goal, we are scoreless after period number 1.
I think if you're Maine, you like the way you skated, you like the way that you started the game on time. Now you just have to find a way to finish. That becomes the most important part right now, is how this Black Bears team is finishing. UNH, you're really in a position right now where all you're trying to do is get your head above water. They right now they've survived the first period, but now you have to find a way to generate.
And to their credit, thought they did a good job as the period went on, especially the last 4 or 5 minutes of kind of balancing things. Attempts felt a little bit more even. Shots on goal still 9-1 in favor of Maine, but the attempts definitely settled down a bit as we have a scoreless game between Maine and New Hampshire in this great rivalry. And Allison is downstairs with the UNH captain, Morgan Winters.
Thanks, Eric. Now, talk to me about the energy coming into this game and what it means to be part of a rivalry like this one.
Obviously, it's a very historic rivalry. It means a lot to everyone in the room. It's bigger than just one game. It's 2 schools going at it every year, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Now you're tied 0-0 here at the end of the first. What more do you want to see from your guys to hopefully put this game away and control the tempo?
Just kind of ignore the noise. Obviously, it's a packed barn. We're on their turf. Just kind of stick to what makes us good, and I think we'll be good.
Thanks, Morgan. Good luck the rest of the game. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Allison. UNH will try to find more shots, but this game's even. No score, Black Bears and Wildcats. Intermission coverage coming up. Our Boston Children's Hospital intermission coverage is on the other side. UNH and Maine are scoreless. This is Friday at the East on NESN. We welcome you back to Alfond Arena. It was a blowout today between Maine and New Hampshire, and there's no score after 1 period of play in this great rivalry matchup between the Wildcats and the Black Bears. And boy, the theme of that period has to be all these attempts for Maine, these great shot opportunities for Maine, the 1 power play attempt as well. But the score is, we're without one. It's scoreless.
When I really go back to the period, UNH did a good job of limiting the quality of the chances for Maine. They let up plenty of opportunities, but I thought that the quality of the shots, except for that Scholey one really early, everything else was pretty much to the outside.
And even the ones that came through the crease at times, as you'll see on some of the highlights here, it felt like maybe it might hit into Joe's stick or something there, but it was never really like a grade A, and that's a credit to New Hampshire for all the work they were doing. But we'll take a look at some of the highlights here.
You just saw UNH's shot of the period right there, and there wasn't a lot of offense for the Wildcats. It all came at the other end of the ice, but as you watch it here, look at the puck. It's really on the perimeter. Despite the fact that you felt like Maine really controlled that period, they had the run of play. In essence, the shots really came from the outside. At the end of it, Chauvette, he had to make a couple of good saves, and some big saves he did make. But at the end, I think that defensive period by UNH wasn't bad. The period was poor in terms of generating for UNH. That's what has to change.
Just one shot on goal for Maine. The chances heavily skewed. That was a good opportunity off a turnover from Josh Nadeau that ends up being a good save made by Chauvette, who was really, really strong in that period for New Hampshire. So credit him for keeping the Wildcats in the game. You take a look at the numbers, 27-8 is the attempts, 9-1 shots on goal in favor of Maine.
Yeah, face-offs, the only thing going UNH's favor right now. Block shots as well, but that's usually a stat of possession time, which was heavily in favor of the Black Bears in that period.
Maine is number 1 in Hockey East in shots blocked per game. Still no score though between Maine and New Hampshire. Plenty more to come. You're listening to the Boston Children's Hospital Intermission Report here from Alphon.
It's deflected, score! It's gonna go off Upson's legs it in.
Up, save, score on the rebound. Joe Connor makes it 2-0 Northeastern.
Hawks back in onside. Overline Schweiger. Pass for a shot and a goal! Bentley scoring his second of the game. And that gives the Riverhawks a 5-3 lead.
Malinowski has numbers here, 2-on-1. Malinowski, he shoots and scores. Look to the left, shot to the right. And he gets his second goal of the game, beating Unger.
Fisher got a block, then to the outside, Letourneau. Right on the doorstep, he scores!
My name is Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Bruins. I played college hockey at Hockey East at the University of Maine. Hockey East is the toughest conference, top to bottom, in college hockey.
Watch this hit.
Thundering hit. Shot seen by Swayman.
You could never take a night off in Hockey East.
The shot is pulled down. What an outstanding save by Swayman, who flashed the leather.
Hockey East, where champions play.
No score here at Alphon Arena between UNH and Maine. Folks, go beyond with Service Credit Union. From free checking to high rate savings. Learn more at servicecu.org. No score between Maine and New Hampshire. Black Bears off to a 5-3 start in Hockey East play. They were picked 4th in the Hockey East preseason poll. You know, it's still early, but we can sort of start to make some things out of the Hockey East standings as we take a peek. Different number of games in a little bit, but a chunk of teams up front with UConn, who has played a game more than BC or Maine. They are the top dog right now at 16 points.
Yeah, but you look at it, no team is more than 2 games above 500 at this point. And at the other end, you don't have anybody that's more than 3 games below 500. So you're talking with every team is within 4 or 5 games of each other.
Yeah.
It's a tight league top to bottom, but that is what this league, I think, is going to be this year. We don't feel like there's any one team in this league separating themselves at this point.
There have only been 3 weekends where a Hockey East team has played the same opponent on back-to-back nights where they have escaped with a full 6-point weekend. There's only been 3 all season long, and that kind of has, you know, been what's defined this season in some ways. A lot of splits, a lot of good teams out there. As you see Maine coming up the tunnel in their brand new renovated digs downstairs here in Alphon Arena. We got to take a peek at them before the game. Spectacular, the job they did, mostly because they did all this stuff underneath the locker rooms, the weight rooms, the lounge spaces, but the interior bowl is just as it looked every time you've been coming to Alphon for the last however many years. And so as Ben Barr said, now there's room for the guys to be humans off the ice. but you also get the special charm of what makes this building one of the best barns in the
the
country.
one thing you didn't want to change was the atmosphere between these walls around this ice surface. Everything else needed to. If you remember the old locker rooms, anybody that's been down there, there wasn't a lot of room. You couldn't have two people pass in the hallway. One had to wait for the other. There was no room. Even in the visitors' side, it was two separate rooms. You'd try to get together between periods to listen to your coach, but it was a strange setup. So to have this feel modern, but have this building and this atmosphere as you're seeing it here inside, this is special. What you have inside this arena, these fans, just slightly less than 5,000 is the capacity, 4,980. Obviously at capacity tonight too.
Yeah, there was no doubt about that. And we get set for this second period. So let's take the New Hampshire side of it. What's the conversation for Mike Souza in the dressing room there, knowing what you talked about in that first period, but knowing what the score is as well?
We've got to find a way to win the neutral zone. We have to generate opportunities by getting up ice. They did not get through the neutral zone smoothly at all that period. They need to get their transition game going. This New Hampshire team does a good job of limiting where the shots come from, but they have to reduce the number that Maine is taking.
So again, 27 attempts for Maine in that first period, just 9 of them on goal. Shots on goal were 9-1 in favor of Maine. Here's a chance for Scott, and that is immediately deflected out of play. We saw a lot of that. Quickly into the zone, quick opportunity, but New Hampshire gets a stick in the way.
And when you think about it, a lot of the Maine shots, they hand us a shot chart at the end of a period, and most of the shots came from above the tops of the red circle. So think about how far out that is. That is a point shot. You're looking for deflections and screens.
Here's Poirier, does get to the puck. Poirier's shot is stopped by Chauvet. Boy, Justin Poirier's got such a good shot. The freshman who leads Hockey East with 11 goals this season. Draft pick of Carolina in the 5th round last year. Another one of those major junior guys coming into college hockey out of the QMJHL.
Scary quick release shot he has too.
No surprise to see him where he is on top of Hockey East in goals when you watch him play just even a little bit. Alex Carr will get set to reset for New Hampshire as they start through the neutral zone. But again, it's Marcus who gets to the puck first for the Wildcats, trying to push it back in, and a backhand by McDonald, but it's quickly on the stick of Jurasevich once again. Jurasevich, who played at Merrimack as a freshman, now his last 2 years here at Maine. Such a key defensive piece for Ben Barr. Off the stick of the freshman Marcus. So Russo again got the start today, coming off the shutout on the road against Boston College in his last start. Just the one shot on goal he's had to face so far. Marcus brings it in, plays it around for Owen Fowler, who gets the puck first for Maine. Fowler will cycle, tried to spin and turn a pass. Marcus gets away from DeHaro, but he couldn't get by. The referee actually was in the way. And a fluttering puck to center.
Looked like he was going to throw a check right there on the referee.
I mean, the way it's going, everybody's getting checked today. Nadeau, good find. Yuzero in. That's deflected out of play. Same thing. That time it's Connor DeHaro, the freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, who got his stick in.
Block shots, still just 6 block shots in the game for New Hampshire. Feels like that total should be higher. They're doing a really good job of stepping in front of the shots, getting sticks in the lanes, deflecting pucks. That's the second one this period that's gone into the luxury box area. Always blocked by the screen, of course.
New Hampshire has blocked just under 15 shots per game, which is the most in Hockey East and top 15 nationally. Player comes around with it. Cy Leclerc moves over. Oliver on a backhand, missed the net wide. With Josh Nadeau putting a little bit of pressure on. Then a shot from the outside, knocked down. Oliver finds it, gets to his backhand, spins around, lost his footing in the process. Chabrier was there first, then Friel got a hit in. Oliver's back on it now, spins a pass for Leclerc. An excellent save by Russo. Best chance of the game for New Hampshire, and Mattis Russo shows off for the first time.
I'm not sure that Russo knew that he had the puck right away. This puck gets on net really quickly. This is a turnover here, and this one gets real quick back. Great release there, threw a bit of a screen, and then Russo catches that one right in the midsection. It drops down, it looks. He's trying to find it between his 5-hole just to get on top of that puck. He
likes to move.
He does.
That's one thing, if you haven't seen Russo play, he's going to move side to side a lot. You said it there. He's even coming up on that sequence.
He's on his knees with the puck not secure. He came up. That was a dangerous play right there, but still able to get the whistle.
But the positive for New Hampshire there, certainly their best chance generated in this game so far. Backhand for Chavette. Needed some help from his defenseman before Peterson pushes it back in. DeHaro on the breakout for New Hampshire. Ryan McPherson was there, taking it off the wall. A couple of times we've seen players go down right behind, in this period, the main net, as Morgan Winters stretch pass for McPherson. That's turned over, Nick Ring, but then Poirier was in a good spot to take it right back.
Yeah, that puck didn't go on to bring stick cleanly. If that's on clean, he's probably walking in alone.
Carr's shot knocked off of Jurasevich. Ring still reaching for it, and Maine does enough to get it out to center. But, you know, if you're Mike Sousa right now, you're just looking for more of those possessions, right? More possessions where Maine has to be on their back foot, because in the first period, it was totally the other way.
The entire period, UNH was on their heels, so to actually feel like you're in an attack position, to know that you are controlling and driving the offense, that's a good feeling for this UNH team. Now, you're just trying to find one that you can put back past the goaltender. It's the challenge. Both teams are finding that right now, but at least UNH is starting to get their chances. That is something they didn't get in the first period.
There's a chance from the outside off of a face-off win. Arnott missed wide. Now Chabrier, another one that's wide. So again, from the outside, that's been a little bit of a theme. Shots wide, and then trying to create like that with Chabrier coming down, and a save made by Chauvette. Still not out, and then it is there as Marcus was looking to swipe it back in. Grayson Arnott plays it around. Here comes JP Turner. Turner coming in with speed. Chabrier back there, and Chabrier, good job to take him off. McDonald, and it's chipped in by Winters just momentarily for Fowler. Gosh, player hacked at it a couple of times to keep it in.
I can see UNH, they're sitting back a little bit in the neutral zone, but ready to pounce. They're ready to attack. That first pass that Maine makes on the breakout, they're ready to try to intercept that. Ring has done it once already. They tried it again there as well.
There's a nice centering pass. McDonald played it across, was looking for Turner, and Lipinski was in the way there for Maine. McDonald again centers up. Turner on a one-time wrist shot. Got deflected up high over the net. Now it's Player. Throws it from the outside, knocked down. It sat there for a moment before Lipinski got to it for Maine. And out for Friel. Friel knocks it down, keeps it in, fires towards the net, missed high. Yuzero is coming down to pinch in, so he wasn't in his spot, and it comes out to center ice for the moment. Friel touch pass. Nadeau was behind him. Gets it off the wall, though, and throws it towards the net, and Chauvette has to use his stick. Jurasevich will reset for the Black Bears. 6.5 into the second period. We are still scoreless. Shots on goal still 11-2 in favor of Maine. If anything, the difference between the shot attempts and the shots on goal has only stretched both ways here in the second period. Even New Hampshire now 13 attempts and just 2 on goal. Taharo got bumped from behind by Pichette. Fitzgerald brings it out. Komarov, this forecheck of this fourth line for Maine. They've been good all day long. New Hampshire manages to bring it out just momentarily, though. Komarov has it swiped and intercepted by Brendan Fitzgerald. He uses the middle of the ice, tries to go wide for Oliver, and then push back to center. Gonna have our penalty, first one of the second period, called here, as Fitzgerald is called for a trip.
Unit number 19, 2 minutes tripping.
Another power play for Maine on the other side when we return to the Alphons. Somebody looking for the game's first goal tonight. Take a look at the penalty here that will put Maine on the power play for the second time.
This one happened. It's an offensive zone penalty. Maine looks like they're about to head up ice, and that's when the UNH player sticks his stick down. That's Brendan Fitzgerald, gets it in between the skates, tripping the call. So Maine, for the second time tonight on the power play.
They had 3 shots on goal on their first power play attempt today. Holt's pass intercepted quickly. Holt did a good job, though, to get back, not let it go all the way down. Thomas Friel, such a good player on the power play. Centers up for Poirier, hopped over his stick. Holt holds it here, though. Works down low for Scott, and now it's Brandon Holt once more. Poirier moves in. His shot looking for a deflection from Friel, ends up wide. Poirier keeps it in, though, but is passed behind Holt. And it's out to center 30 seconds into the penalty. Thomas Friel had 8 power play goals last year. That was top 10 in the country. Nadeau is in, and that's deflected out of play. Another stick in a shooting lane and deflected out.
Yeah, real good job by UNH. That's what they're doing well right now. Their defensive side of the puck, getting sticks in the passing and shooting lanes on this penalty kill here. You're just trying to make sure that you're making things more difficult. And the stick in the lane, as you saw it right there, that's all you need to do. Just disturb the attacker enough. Get the face off.
Face off win, but comes all the way out. Both teams right now have to be thinking about how to get more shots on target. We told you this is one of the themes when these two teams play. They're so good at taking away shots. That's deflected out of play. Attempts in this period, 11-5. Shots on goal in this period, just 2-1.
It's crazy to think you've had blocks, you've had missed nets. It's the misses, I think, that really stand out. The number of times that you come down with an opportunity and you end up putting it wide. Both teams have been at fault in that tonight.
Player tried to rim it around. Couldn't get it out as Mark is pushing back in. Now Fowler on a bobbling puck. He's still really trying to get possession with 39 seconds remaining on the penalty. Taharo. Marcus pokes it along, but a good effort to clear by Cy Leclerc.
Good job there by the penalty killers, keeping the puck along the wall until you knew that you had an opportunity to get the puck out. You're going to play with that puck along the wall all day when you're killing penalties.
New Hampshire up to 10 blocked shots in the game, by the way. Here is Charlie Russell. 10 seconds remaining on the penalty, and New Hampshire kills off their second of the game.
Blind pass there by Russell.
So a good kill for the Wildcats. Fitzgerald jumps right out. Peterson comes in. Peterson, tough angle, is stopped by Chauvette. So we'll see if New Hampshire can generate any momentum off of that kill. And remember, Maine was actually probably better in their 5-on-5 moments after their first power play. 10:16 remaining in the second, and that's lifted out of play.
If you're Mike Sousa, though, you're sitting here saying, okay, we're on the road. We haven't played our best game. We've given them 2 power plays, and we're still at 0-0 game. We played half the game. This is not the worst situation. The longer you go, if you're UNH staying in this game, you'll take this.
Officials talking to Ring and Gerrois. With the face-off, Lavins and Komarov, won by Maine. Face-offs have now come even after New Hampshire got off to a really good start in that first period, despite where the shots were against them. That is kept in on the line just momentarily, Rowe. Chabrier played it on a backhand. DeAngelis has to reset. Player for Nick Ring. That was untouched. Icing waved off, though. Ring had a piece of it momentarily, then an odd bounce off of Komarov. The sophomore's back on it now, but quickly taken away. And now here comes Pichette into the offensive zone. Pichette moves towards the net. Good play by DeHaro, who got it in his skates. There is not much ice available right now.
You look at UNH right there, they're coming up ice. Looks like they're attacking as a unit of 4, and they have 4 Maine Black Bears facing them coming back. I think, it's one of those games where this is more about defense for both teams right now.
I mean, there is no world. As first look at that play, Nadeau coming in, spears it over. Friel again can't get the shot because of the effort by Cita. There's no world anyone in this building is sitting here and watching all the attempts in this game who's not surprised by the fact there's only 14 shots on goal total in this game over the halfway mark. Lipinski tried to dig it off the wall. DeAngelis plays it back, but Lipinski knocks it down at center. 3-on-3 back for Maine. Friel across. Pass wasn't there as McPherson breaks it up well. Good stretch pass to go wide. Chance from DeTurris from the outside, and then he got whacked into the wall by Frank Jurasevich.
Watching some of these players, it feels like frustration is setting in early too. They're trying the more difficult, long stretch passes that they're almost never going to be there.
Especially in a game like this. 8:07 remaining in the second period. We are still scoreless over the halfway mark. UNH and Maine. There's Mike Sousa in his 8th season as the head coach of New Hampshire. You know, he said it this way. I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier that both coaches, almost feels like every coach is saying this right now, but he said there's been more good than bad, but we're just trying to find that consistency and try to build off what we did the last 2 games. And, you know, Ben Barr, for the second weekend in a row, he said it to us after the BC weekend, he said it to us after the Vermont weekend, said, I'm pretty sure we played better on the night we lost than the night we won. It's been that kind of year. He probably has somewhat of a similar feeling today, again, with all of those early opportunities and still seeing no score on the board at the moment. Cholik got whacked into the UNH bench. Russo's fun to watch in goals. You see a little bit of it there. He likes to move. He likes to play the puck.
Almost to a point that would make you nervous.
Yeah.
He comes out just very almost cavalier looking at times, but he knows what he's doing. He's clean when he plays the puck.
Aggressive, athletic guy. Mattis Russo making his 4th start of the season today. Big hit connected there. He's 2-1, had the shutout against BC. He started the Saturday game against BU as well. That was a very different game. That was that 8-5 crazy game here at Alfond Arena back in early November. It was still cold that day, but it was about 25 degrees warmer than it is right now.
For certain, maybe even more.
Nearly turned over to Russell. Newcomb sends a long pass forward for Turner. Can he get in behind with Usero the closest to him? That hit the side of the net. No chance to do anything more than that. Then a big hit. Newcomb coming together with Scott. Poirier brings it out for Maine. Overlaps with Russell. He's back there with DeHaro. Here is McDonald moving through. McDonald tries a shot from the outside. The glove save by Russo. That's sometimes what you're left with in a game like this, because you feel like, well, let's just try something.
Anywhere.
Let's just get something on goal here.
Shoot the puck from anywhere. The one thing you can kind of think in that situation, if you're really trying to shoot with purpose, is keep it lower so that it might actually generate a rebound. If there's anything that shot was meant to do, it was just to get an offensive zone face-off. Mission accomplished.
Got a little bit of a reset. 6:23 remaining in the second period. Maine and New Hampshire still scoreless. That was the third shot on goal of the game for New Hampshire. At 7-7 overall. Back-to-back wins, as we talked about last week on the road at Bentley, and the prior Saturday down at a ranked UConn team. Here is Deturis wide. Deturis from the outside, a kick save by Russo. That was shooting for a rebound and trying to create something. Cherrois spins and gets a backhand down, but this will cross the line for icing.
Another offensive zone draw here for New Hampshire. Face-offs in this game dead even right now. 28 draws, 14 wins apiece. UNH had a lead through that first period of play, but Maine has evened things up here in the second.
In front of a packed house here at Alfond Arena. One of the crown jewel barns in all of college hockey. Lavins in his first game back since the opening weekend against Michigan State. He's a really crucial piece. Someone that Mike Souza all the time would talk about. He's a driver for our team. We need that. So a team that's looking for a little bit more offense, such a key to have him back and healthy. Out of play with 5:27 remaining in the second period. Still looking for our first goal here tonight between Maine and New Hampshire on Friday Night Hockey East on NESN. No score here at Alfond Arena. Folks, Eastern Propane and Oil is proud to partner with Hockey East to support youth hockey throughout New England. Visit HockeyEastOnline.com to get your youth team featured on social media and a chance to win Hockey East tickets. You can always check out Hockey East social channels all year long at Hockey_East on X and Instagram. Plenty of content churning out of the office these days. As we hit the home stretch at the end of the first half of play.
It's a fast first half of the season, hasn't it been, Eric?
In some ways, yes, and others, no. But it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been eventful.
I can't believe
it's been interesting, and there's been a lot to talk about.
Yeah, you know,
that's for sure.
I always get to that point where it's after Thanksgiving, and we can start talking about, it used to be the pairwise, now it's the MPI,
yes.
and we've done that. We started talking about the MPI
yes.
a little bit, but now you realize that everybody's playing hockey right now. Everybody's kind of settled into their season. It's men's league now.
The NPI consumed about 2 hours of our 4-hour ride up here today.
That's right.
And that is whistled down for icing. There's been so many storylines. There's the NPI storyline. There's hockey's trying to get back into the conversation after a little bit of a slower start in the non-conference. But the bigger one has been the fact of, we mentioned the splits earlier, and the larger kind of extrapolation of that to the whole country is that even the best teams, even the teams that are ranked high in the USCHO poll, that are ranked high in the MPI, putting Dartmouth aside, they all have losses. And they all have losses, it feels like, to unranked teams, which is different than in years past. Turnover here, Lipinski got it to Nadeau. Nadeau trying to get out front. That's a great play by Carr to push him off.
Yeah, great defense. It's just a rub out, that play.
New Hampshire trying to quickly go back the other way. Friel gets it forward to Lipinski. There's a broken stick on the ice. Lipinski coming through, tries to get wide, spins away, and it's broken up by Leclerc. That is icing here. In the first 4 weeks of the season this year, there were double-digit upsets by unranked teams against top 10 opponents. That was unheard of the last couple of years.
Yeah, that was, I think we came up with the number, you came up with it. It was 3 in the first month last year
versus like 13 this year.
13 this year. That's a crazy number. And it does show that there's a little bit of volatility. It also shows that with major junior players in college hockey, I don't think we always know who the better team is supposed to be night in, night out.
Yep. Here's Marcus off of a face-off win for Maine. And ends up getting deflected wide. And a kick save made by Chauvette. Wraparound chance. Scholey comes out for Holtz. And a save by Chauvette.
That's the most confident that Kyle Chauvette has looked tonight, all the way out top of his crease. Watch where his skates are, the skate blades. The back of his blades are right at the top of the blue paint here. Great angle here to see it. Look how far he comes out, gets into the butterfly right there. That's where you want to be at a goaltender, as a goaltender, when you're playing with the most confidence.
That was Maine's first shot on goal in over 6 minutes of game time. First couple of shots with Chauvette, who's had to make a couple of really big saves, and especially absorbing first 5 or 6 minutes of this game where Maine was on fire out of the gate tonight. Scott comes off the wall and got hit. It's Fitzgerald who's leaving it forward. Winters does spin it out to center where Holt is there. One of the Black Bear captains, Brandon Holtz. Ben Barr always talks about one of the more underrated players in the country. Not underrated to the folks up here, though. Got deflected on the rim around. DeHaro is back there with Scott. Taken away by Russell. Charlie Russell, and just a good pin there by Fitzgerald.
It's a simple
got
play.
Airborne as well.
Simple play along the wall. Use your frame. Pin the player against the boards.
Usero for Chabrier. Nice move. Chabrier comes center. Chabrier fires, and it's deflected wide. Squirts out against Chabrier, waiting and shooting, looking for a tip. And Chauvette had to fight it off with Scott in front. Now it's Russell. It hit his stick. And New Hampshire comes out, end of the shift here with Nick Ring.
That's a tough break there that it's the end of the shift, because that's one of the first times that they'd come out looking like they could have had numbers. Lavins is trying his best to go in and put a forecheck on. He's at the end of his shift and really tired.
And Chabrier knocks him to the ice. Here's Carr for the outside, looking for a tip in the high slot from Turner. And now it's Turner who gets to it. Lavins and Chabrier still tied up. Lavins couldn't get his stick free. Here is Turner going right towards the net. Lost his footing in behind. Lavins finally gets it out. That deflected off someone. Russo was reaching for it, then sprawls back the other way. Now it's Carr, and it stays out. Russo with a ridiculous stop. He was flat on the ice, and somehow his whole body comes leaping through the air to make this save.
He lost his balance, Rousseau did, and that's when the puck gets up to the slot area. Look at the ability to keep track of the play, and then as the puck's coming just to see it, just casually stick the glove out. Fantastic save there by Rousseau.
I think it's that right shoulder that he ends up getting it with on the second effort. I mean, the amount of strength to just like get up as quickly as he did and still be in a position not to just get up, but have enough to lunge up with that right shoulder.
Credit to UNH too, they got that puck back to the net really quickly when they noticed that he had lost his balance. Catch there by that fan.
He had kind of, and that's what we talked about with him, right? He really likes to move. So you see that sometimes where he goes all the way wide to his post, kind of has to lunge back, but to his credit, he usually figures out how to get back.
He's less traditional of a goaltender, moves more than the average modern goaltender. He looks like a goaltender maybe that played 15, 20 years ago.
To the side of the net, McDonald picks it off the shot from Newcomb. McDonald once again for Turner. And McDonald once more. McDonald's shot is blocked. Sully Sholey in the way. Good pass out for Fowler. Can Fowler get through? Fowler stops and spins on a backhand. A save made by Chauvette, and the net goes flying. How about that strength to do that on your backhand from Owen Fowler?
They're going to say that UNH knocked the net off here. They're not going to allow them to change. Nice play here, though, by Fowler. He just gets the puck to the net. Then you have Marcus going there as well. And now I understand why UNH gets the no change. They actually, I saw the main player, Marcus, hit the net. He was cross-checked into it. Yep, that's a good call by the officials. And Austin O'Rourke's over there saying, come on, you cannot change. Stop slowing it down. Let's go. UNH is trying to delay. They don't understand why they're not being allowed to change, but we saw it there on the replay. It was clear that they were the ones that caused the net to come off.
Yeah. You know, especially the way this game is going, I really like that by Fowler, even though, okay, it's not perfect, I'm stuck on my backhand, but let's still take the shot.
Find a way.
Because again,
get pucks there right now.
That's the kind of moment it feels like we're in at this point. Who finds the game's first goal? 1:27 left. It's Holt who missed wide.
Didn't miss by much.
No, he did not. Newcomb skates out. Lipinski takes him off. Back on a UNH stick, though, and going to have our first penalty against Maine of the game. So with 1:10 remaining in the second period, New Hampshire now off of a delayed call will get a chance with an extra attacker on and the net empty. They'll start up with Nick Ring. Ring got knocked to the wall by Peterson. Holt touches up there. And with 54.9 to go in the second, New Hampshire will go to the power play for the first time tonight.
I think you had Nick Ring asking, did I just draw a second penalty there at the end? I don't think they're going to get that call. This one came about 25 seconds ago.
Maine number 41, 2 minutes tripping.
Tripping is the call to Jaden Pinsky. That's what we're going to see.
Yeah, they're going to say right there that he...
Legs take out legs.
Yeah.
It's UNH power play. First unit usually goes 4 forwards. You have Morgan Winters back at the right point here. Get a lot of offense on the ice right now for the Wildcats.
Part of the reason that UNH has won these last 2 games, 2 for 3 on their power play over these last 2, including 1 for 1 against Bentley last Saturday. For the season, they're just a little over 16%, which is 10th in Hockey East. Look at the pressure put on by Scott. Again, you can kind of afford to do that at the end of the period, but now you got to get back with Ring. Oh boy, he lost his stick. He just dropped it. So a little bit of bad luck there for New Hampshire.
You'd rather have him drop that, though, than continue to play and get a penalty himself.
So just 17 seconds now remaining in the period. New Hampshire may have to just reset in the dressing room here. Timing kind of was all off after that portion where Nick Ring just had to drop his stick in center ice. Final couple of seconds of the period, and we're going to go scoreless to the third with 1:06 of power play time for New Hampshire to start period number 3.
It's hard to believe that we have played 2 periods here today. We only have 22 shots on net, and we don't yet have a goal. It really strikes me right now that this is one of those games that the score is not really indicative of the play on the ice right now.
Shots might not be either.
Yeah, exactly. Just five shots through 2 periods.
The attempts right now are 46 to 20. The shots on goal, 17-5, with a couple more for Maine as that period went on. So, no score through 2 periods, and Thomas Friel is downstairs with Allison.
Thanks, Eric. Now, Tommy, you're down 2 periods here. What was the message coming into this game, and how do you feel like your team's executed on that so far?
You know what? We had a bye week last weekend, so we wanted to come out hard, get right back into game shape right away. I thought we've done a good job of getting the pucks deep, being physical. We just got to do a better job of getting it to the net and trying to put one away.
Now you've held them to 5 shots on goal. What's been working so far, and what can you capitalize on to hopefully put this game away?
Yeah, you know, I think once the pucks get flipped out in the neutral zone, we're doing a good job of kind of regrouping quickly, getting it back in their zone. So just more of that, minimizing the time in our end, taking away any odd man rushes, and keep moving forward.
Thanks, Tommy. Good luck the rest of the game. Back to you guys.
Allison, thank you so much. It's been an interesting physical game that is still looking for its first goal. Maine and New Hampshire still scoreless. Our Boston Children's Hospital intermission coverage is up next here on Friday Night Hockey East on NESN. A scoreless game here at Alphon through 2 periods of play between Maine and New Hampshire. 2 teams that traditionally make it really difficult to get shots on goal against, and that has been the story through 2 periods of this game. It has been amazing how the number of attempts, especially early on for Maine in that first period, but now even all of a sudden it's New Hampshire, the same thing, 5 shots on goal for 20 attempts. And the story of this third period is going to be who can get more of these attempts actually on goal.
Yeah, I really feel like the neutral zone has been a big part of this game in the lack of success for either team in the neutral zone offensively. They're not getting through cleanly. We're not seeing any transition game from either team right now. Odd man rush is not happening. It's a credit to defense, though.
Yeah,
this has become a defensive game, whether either team wanted it to be when this started. That's what it's become.
And that's what you're going to see on these highlights as we look at them out of these first couple of periods today. Second period, still no goals on the board, obviously. And again, it's just tough to find clean ice. There was a couple of really good chances, and the goaltenders were very good when they came.
Yeah, that first one there by UNH, you had Rousseau kind of looking for that puck in his 5-hole. A lot of physical play in this game, and that's what this series is about, is the physical play, but we're not seeing still the chances that either team really hopes to see in this game. Yes, we saw the opportunities there in that period, but we didn't see the grade A's. We didn't see the rebound attempts in front of the net. I feel like both teams, when they look at their defensive structure in this game, they're pretty happy with the way things have gone. You know, this might have been the best attempt for either team in this game.
It's interesting watching that again. We said in the moment he lost his balance. I'm not sure he did lose his balance. I think, he's going for the puck there, and then he's choosing to dive across because, again, he likes to move. But then, again, the strength to come up and make that save is just remarkable.
And then that Fowler attempt there, that was one of the last of the period. I just feel like that's what has to happen here, Eric. These teams really have to be focused on taking the shot wherever it is on the ice. You've got to find the opportunity right now. There's not enough of them out there.
Good stuff all around here in this rivalry game. And still no score. Maine and New Hampshire here from Alphon. Again, the attempts 46-20, as we said, but the shots on goal just 17-5. In that second period, the attempts 19-12 in favor of Maine. Shots on goal 8-4. Yeah, so we keep beating the same conversation, but I mean that's what it's been.
Let's do simple math. 20 shot attempts for New Hampshire, only 8 blocks for Maine. 46 attempts for Maine, 11 blocks. That's a lot of shots missing the net on either end of the ice.
I'm not sure that was simple math, but that was impressive work by you. So we do the best we can with it, and we move on as we continue with our Boston Children's Hospital intermission coverage here from the Alphon. Still no score. Maine and New Hampshire on Friday Night Hockey East on NESN.
Goes there, hits her in the skate, and a goal! Jaden Boston puts in the rebound.
Puck intercepted by Levy. A shot, score! Knuckling one through, Audrey Knapp makes it 2-1 Providence.
Inside for Thomas. Thomas cuts it back. Thomas shot. Oh! Thomas
pocket by Campbell from behind. She's joined the other way with Woodward. She finds her in front, and they score! Megan Woodward, with 3:35 to go, takes the lead 4-3.
No score in New Hampshire and Maine as we get set for the third period here from Alfond Arena. We are past Thanksgiving, which means that there's nothing that Steve Metcalf can do to get me to stop talking about the nerdy NPI. We're here. It is time. And it is interesting at this point because I think one of the things that we've tried to get across, whether it's on our broadcast or on This Week in Hockey East, is that it feels volatile early on, but it's less about the NPI, and it's more about just what this season has been in terms of the volatility of the games themselves, not as much the volatility of the actual NPI.
Yeah, correct. You know, I think on one of my early podcasts, I mentioned, this team is high and this team is low because it's the NPI, and somebody from the stats side of the NCAA reached out and said, no, it's results at this point. If this was the pairwise, these results, these numbers wouldn't be that much.
There might be a little bit of
not
difference,
off
but
by much, yeah.
Now we're still at a point. Northeastern would be the only team in at this moment if the season ended today. But this is where you start to look at it. Same as the pairwise, you're looking at some of the other teams and things that have happened. For example, last night Minnesota went on the road, beat Ohio State. So what does that do? Boston College moved up 2 spots because they have the road wins at Minnesota. UConn slid down because their wins against Ohio State now become less valuable just with that one loss. Not to say that one game changes everything that much, but when it's a standalone game, you sort of can zoom in on the picture a little bit more. So the obvious point here, and where you see a lot of 2s and 3s and 4s and less teams in the conversation in the NCAA tournament season ended today, like we saw last year for Hockey East, has to do with a couple of things. Number one, the non-conference record has not been quite as good as it's been in years past. And number two, the lack of those big time quality wins that get you that literal quality win bonus that allows you to really jump up. The team that has that is Northeastern over Denver, and that's why they're 8th.
Yeah, you're talking about Hockey East as a conference last year won more than 62% of their games. This year they're just a little over 50%. I think it's about 52.5% right now. So that's a big enough, a stark enough difference that as we sit today, and there's still a half a season left, but you have to understand there's not a lot of non-conference games left for Hockey East teams. That's what becomes a big part of the NPI, but we've got a bigger game in front of us right now.
Well, we certainly do, and there's some things to talk about there with these two teams. But first, let's watch the rest of this New Hampshire power play, which has a minute to go on it as we start the third period. No score. New Hampshire and Maine. Who can get some of these chances on goal? That's our story to talk about as we start period number 3 from Alfond Arena. Nick Ring. Pass works down low. Great chance for Winters, but it just rolls off his stick a bit. And Mattis Russo hasn't had a ton of work. He's made 5 saves, but a couple of them have been spectacular.
Yeah, if you're UNH, you'll actually take that play, though, because that's a danger zone puck at the blue line. If you bobble that, that's going the other way and breakaway. But a nice job by Ring, gets it down low, and Winters just gets the puck on net. Now you've got the offensive zone draw. What can you do with that?
Cy LeClaire does a great job to win it for New Hampshire. Chance from the outside, then Ring was reaching for it side of the net, but Maine clears. Cy LeClaire's been good today. He's won 13 faceoffs, dropping only 7. Winters plays it around. 19 seconds remaining on this power play, overlapping from the end of the second period. Down low for Ring. New Hampshire trying to really set up for the first time. They've gotten chances. Here's their setup look. LeClaire shooting a save by Russo with traffic in front from Morgan Winters.
Russo just stays square to this puck and the shooter right there. But a good shot there. This is a puck that New Hampshire didn't cleanly set up at all in this the entire time they had the puck in the zone, but they get that puck over to the right the right wing elbow. Just a little bit of a shot and another face-off. Again, there's just been no time and space. Even when you have a power play, as UNH does right now, Maine has done a great job shutting down the time and space.
Final 5 seconds will come off. And that does it for the power play time. Still in the offensive zone here for New Hampshire. And Russell tries to break out. Philbrick was right there. And a fluttering pass to center. Russell trying to sneak in behind, waits, allows everybody to tag up. Lipinski spins one in, now Fowler whacking at it out of midair. Chauvette settles it down, he's made 17 saves. Russo's made 7 on the other side. And we're still scoreless. Icing waved off here. Turner from the outside, a little tip play in front. Good opportunity from Jacob Newcomb. And Russo again equal to it. Now Fitzgerald from the outside. And that one ends up missing wide, with Lipinski picking it up now for Maine.
Part of it was the power play, but UNH is generating here to start the third period.
Good couple of shifts to start the third for New Hampshire. DeHaro kicks at it, but it's Maine who starts out with Bodie Nose. It was definitely noticeable in that first period, his first game back after not dressing the last couple of weeks. The touch pass back. And here is Connor DeHaro, freshman defender from North Carolina. Tries one from the outside, so New Hampshire, to their credit, they're getting pucks to the net, at least to start this third period.
You might as well. I think at this point you've seen what happens through 2 periods when you try to be cute and you try to make the pretty play. Get the pucks to the net. Just find ways to funnel pucks in that direction. The rebounds will be there eventually. You have to just keep trusting the process here.
Oliver, there was some pressure on him from Arnott. He just kind of had to reach and tap at it. Ends up going behind. Now here's Fowler. Moves it around the wall. Player back there for New Hampshire. Arnott can't keep it in. So 3 minutes into the third period, New Hampshire's had more of the puck to start this final regulation stanza. Off the wall, here's Nick Ring. Ring, Peterson blocked it. Couldn't get it through the skates. Ring comes away again. Philbrick stops it on the line. Philbrick fires, Russo makes the save, and then friendly fire from his own man Holtz.
That's one of those moments where you hold your breath. The puck's going to the goaltender, and there's probably the most reliable defenseman, Brandon Holt, right on top of your goaltender, getting pushed in a little by the UNH player right there. But Russo holds on to that puck as he gets some contact, as you called it, friendly fire from Holt.
It was Marty Lavins there for New Hampshire. And this is icing as well.
Today's icing is presented by Davis Mechanical Maintenance, the official heat pump provider of the Black
We're 4 minutes almost into this period. Maine has not really had any zone time. That, you know, the penalty and power play for UNH's start here in this third period dictates a lot of that. But since that penalty has been killed, UNH has still had the press. They've had more of the zone time. Maine has to go back to the neutral zone play that was getting them having much more success in the first 2 periods.
Carr's chance was knocked down on the line, and here comes Maine out with Lipinski. But ended up coming through offside. Then a couple of hits after the fact. I'm not sure everybody heard the whistle on that sequence, as it was a little bit late coming over the line.
Credit to these 2 teams. As physical as this game has been, as heated as this battle is, this rivalry is, you still only have 3 minor penalties in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the offside there, and then the continuation of the play. I don't know that everybody heard a whistle there. The whistle is delayed because it was delayed offside, but I don't know that everybody heard the whistle.
I was just looking over to the Maine bench, and Ben Barr really trying to get his team going here. Not the start to the first 3.5 minutes that he was looking for. New Hampshire has had 9 attempts and 5 shots on goal in the first 3.5 minutes of this third period.
That matches the entire rest of the game in terms of shots on goal.
And now Komarov is chased from the jog. Prichette will come in. One back by New Hampshire. They've also won 5 of the 7 face-offs in this third period as well. Newcomb comes in, nearly had a chance to take that puck away.
Puck hit Newcomb behind the net. I don't think he realized it hit him.
Nobes was trying to go all the way around. Took a bit of a soft bounce off the wall. Hacks out for Jurasevich. That's taken away. A chance for Cam McDonald. McDonald scores! Cam McDonald breaks the scoreless tie. And New Hampshire, with a dominant start to the third period, leads 1-0.
The first-year player from U Sports, played for Acadia University last year, gets the breakaway behind the D, and he accelerates, able to get a step on the defender, and then the snap right off the stick, right under the crossbar. Perfect release there, and a goal for Cam McDonald. A much-needed goal, 4th of the season for McDonald. But to take this 1-0 lead here for UNH, they have hung in this game the whole way, and now they have the first lead.
There were really 2 sequences of moments. The first 5-6 minutes of the first period for Maine and the first 4.5 minutes of this third period for New Hampshire. Maine has all those chances, cannot find a goal. New Hampshire has all those chances. They do find a goal, and they have the 1-0 lead, and that is the big difference in this hockey game right now.
Now, Maine, you're now trying to figure out how you get back to your forecheck. How do you reestablish what was going so well for 2 periods? It's become lost here in the third.
And if you, again, we mentioned it, Jimmy, if you could have seen the Maine bench, you could tell Ben Barr sensed it was happening before even that turnover happened. And New Hampshire takes advantage of it.
Yeah, you mentioned it, the whistle before that timeout, he was animated. He was talking to his players, trying to spur them on in some way. This has not been a good start to this third period.
New Hampshire with 6 shots on goal in this third period. They had 5 total in the first 2. Knocked down by Brandon Holt and played back in. The Wildcats looking for another huge road win, which has been a story of their season so far. The big win at Michigan State, the ranked win at UConn, even Bentley last week. They're 5-3 on the road this year compared to just 2-4 at home.
Listen, playing on the road, the bonus points you get for road wins, those are so valuable, especially if you can beat the nationally ranked teams in their buildings.
Peterson will start the rush out here for Maine. Friel shoots wide.
Now UNH, you almost see some confidence coming out of them.
Absolutely.
They're skating harder, more aggressive, even coming back defensively.
Here is Nadeau coming through. Nadeau goes wide, spins back, hits the trailer. Jurasevich back for Josh Nadeau. He still waits. Nice move, tries to get to the slot, just never got a shot out of it. And New Hampshire comes back with Deturis. That, in a weird way, might be a microcosm of the whole game for Maine.
It really is. You have Nadeau maybe trying to do a little bit too much. Next thing you lose the puck. The puck's going the other way. In New Hampshire, they're happy with, they don't need a 2-on-1 in a shot. They just want to dump the puck, make Maine go 200 feet.
Here is Chabrier. Starts up the wall and plays it around. McDonald taps at it. And it's Loic Husero. Another guy coming from the Quebec Major Junior League. Good effort there by Lavins. Komarov flips it to center, knocked down by Player. He steers it back in for New Hampshire, up 1-0.
Look at that play right there. Just takes it right off him, Nick Ring.
Tried to come off the wall. And then penalties coming up. So they did all that work. And actually, they're going to get both. They're going to get an embellishment call against Maine.
UNH number 37, 2 minutes for tripping. Maine number 22, 2 minutes for embellishment.
This was one of the rule changes a couple of years ago. You can't have embellishment without a penalty call. So we'll sort that out on the other side when we come back. Under 12 to go in the third. New Hampshire has the 1-0 lead. So let's take a look at this sequence. Nick Ring does some great work, and then he's going to be called for a penalty. And Gerrois is going to be called for embellishment at the end of it.
It's as much of a dive as it is the trip. I agree with this, Aaron. You see, yeah, the stick hits the skate. That is, you don't need to act there. You probably would fall down anyways. I think that little embellishment is enough. And
it's that going up.
Yep, that 4-on-4 hockey. Now we're going to have some open ice here. Who will this favor?
Yeah, you know that can sound somewhat counterintuitive, but you can't get an embellishment call without the penalty coming with it as well. That's the change that was made in college hockey a couple of years ago. Here's Brandon Holt who comes in. So 4-on-4, like you said, 1:35. Maine trailing by a goal. Holt leaves it. Chance for Scott against Lavins. He spins away again and finds Peterson, who's been so creative today. Peterson was forcing the play wide, ends up with Fitzgerald, and New Hampshire again gets it out.
That's a good pressure up at the blue line. When you're stick handling up near the blue line, any pressure there usually forces a turnover.
Russell back for Maine, and Philbrick got a good hit in. New Hampshire is certainly playing with some momentum and confidence at the moment, up by a goal. Alex Carr back for Philbrick. Winters got a tap at it, and Russo in a good spot. Here is Chabrier. Brandon bring it up with some speed. Nadeau comes to the middle. Now it's Usero. Usero gets through, couldn't get a shot. Was able to drag it to the middle, but Philbrick holds his line really well defensively for New Hampshire. Chabrier now from the outside, walking down the wall, away from Oliver. Chabrier spins away, has Scholey for a one-timer block. Usero fires, and that was blocked as well. Usero now in a backhand, and a save made by Chauvette. Here's Oliver with 15 seconds remaining, 4-on-4. Oliver couldn't get it on goal. Good play there by Chabrier to get back and break up the chance from Oliver. After UNH did so just like that to Maine on the other end. Maine still looking for their first shot on goal of this third period. Gerrois coming through out of the box. Back to 5-on-5 hockey with under 10 minutes to go in the third. A 1-0 lead for New Hampshire over Maine. From the outside, that got knocked down. Here is Nobes, whacks at it, and plays it off the wall for Turner to come back and swipe it away for New Hampshire. Turner coming back through. It was broken up well by Jurasevich. And here is Lipinski. Lipinski trying to come through, but again, look how many white sweaters are back.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you're taking the transition game out when your defense is back every single time.
The New Hampshire Wildcats still yet to allow a shot on goal here in the third period. And they have a 1-0 lead with 9 minutes remaining. Jurasevich knocks it back in. Fitzgerald on a backhand for DeAngelis. Who gets it out to center and absorbs a big hit from Fowler. Poirier flips it forward for Fowler. Somebody reaching for it. Komarov, and Chauvette again makes the save.
Oh, fantastic save there.
Kind of sat loose, and then Komarov, to his credit, finds that puck. Best chance of the period for Maine as they try to come back down 1-0.
building's back in it, that's for sure.
That opportunity reignites the sellout crowd at Alphonse. McPherson centering up Poirier, back in a good spot. Seedham now spinning off the wall. Seedham fires, and a blocker save made by Rousseau. Philbrick once more, plays it down. Couldn't get it beyond Peterson. Flips a lob wedge to center. With under 8 minutes to go here in the third period. A 1-0 lead for New Hampshire. And Nick Ring coming down. Ring down the Dashers. Ring right to the net, and a save by Rousseau. A little bit of speed put on there by Nick Ring, the junior. Charlie Russell now. End of a shift for Maine. So New Hampshire's able to defend that fairly well. Scott now coming through against Winters. Scott forced wide to the wall. Usero lost his footing, and because of it, the pressure from Lavins was able to push that puck down the other end.
Lavins might have liked to have gone with that puck, but he's happy just to get the puck out.
7:14 remaining in this third period as Charlie Russell picks it up in the corner and finds Bodie Nobes, who walks the line and gives it back for Russell. Thomas Friel next to try to go after it against Carr. Friel spins, Chauffet. Good position there, didn't leave his post even with the momentum pulling him to his left. Sam Oliver now for New Hampshire. Goes after it with Nobes getting there first for Maine. Here's Fowler. Has Marcus. Fowler shooting, deflected up high. Nobes from the outside, and that did not get through. Fitzgerald was right there waiting for New Hampshire.
Yeah, good heads-up block. Then he realizes where the puck is, skates it, and clears it down ice.
Chances obviously starting to shift here, but still just 2 shots on goal in the period for Maine. And they trail 1-0. We're all the way down, almost 6 minutes remaining here in this third period.
We've gone a long ways without a whistle.
And New Hampshire will certainly take that at the moment. Here's the goal scorer. McDonald's got bumped off. Philbrick plays it all the way around it in. Then from the outside, a whacking chance at it. Behind the net, another one from Philbrick. And Brandon Holtz to pick it up. Turner comes off for New Hampshire. Under 6 to go in the third.
UNH will go with 1, but you're not going to see more than 1 guy on the forecheck. They're getting 4 guys back. Causing icing right there.
Whistle down, so that is a whistle, but we stay here. 5:34 to go in the third period. And New Hampshire still doing all of those things, right? And it's one of those now, because of the way the rest of this game has gone, you look back at the first period differently, and this has been all about how New Hampshire has just limited Maine for what now is 57 attempts in this game and just 20 of them on goal.
Yeah, but the way that New Hampshire has continually gotten better on the defensive side of the puck has been what really carried them through this game.
And they take advantage of 1 turnover at this point, and McDonald finds the back of the net on a great shot. Here is Lavins. Lavins, tough angle shot. Russo loves to push out with that right shoulder, makes another save. Another chance from Winters, and that missed wide. He's really good at pushing, but just pushing up at the same moment. He's gotten a couple of them with that right shoulder extending out and making that save. Here is Pearson, who starts through and plays it in for DeAngelis. All the way down under 5 minutes to go. This is going to be another icing. I mean, you gotta love this if you're New Hampshire right now.
Absolutely. This is how you want to play a road third period. You take a lead, and then you don't have a lot of opportunities for the other team to strategize. You haven't had the timeout opportunity. You haven't had the long break to get a TV timeout. Ben Barr not going to use his timeout. Obviously, it was New Hampshire that got called for the icing. So you're in a situation where you're just not really allowing for much break. And if you're in a lead on the road in that situation, very happy to be there.
Usero and Chabrier, the defense pairing for Maine. Here is Fitzgerald. Back there with DeHaro. That's broken up by Scott. Using the wall. Poirier, can he get by? Poirier swipes at it, comes all the way across and out. Chabrier flips it back in. Turner's going to get there first, pin it to the wall. Loose puck, New Hampshire is on it again. And a flip to center. Turner pushed off by Usero. Russo's going to settle, and we will take a breath. 3:59 to go in the third period. Maine trying to find their way back. Down 1-0 against their arch rivals.
All right, Black Bear Nation, it is time to get on your feet.
1-0 New Hampshire here at Alfond Arena. Folks, Hockey East on Nesson is brought to you in part by Boston Children's Museum. Visit Boston Children's Museum today, the official children's museum of Hockey East. Well, if New Hampshire can get through this last 3:59, their third period deserves to be put in a museum for how well they have. Again, it's not going to be flashy stuff. It's not, stuff that's going to pop on social media, but they have just been so solid in their structure. But there is a really good offense on the other side, which still has 3:55 to go to try to tie this game.
And if you're Maine, you're going to see everything in the kitchen sink likely heading to the net, and icing here by UNH. So face-offs become important now. Maine with a 25-24 edge in this game.
But to your point, yes, but they got to get these pucks to the net. And again, even in this third period, it's 3 shots on goal compared to 13 attempts. And all of those 13 attempts have come after the New Hampshire goal. So, the last 9-10 minutes or so. Shots in the period on goal still 9-3 in favor of New Hampshire. The attempts are basically even, 15-13.
Good job there on that face-off. They neutralized, end up getting the puck, and then clear it off of Arnott's glove.
Arnott off the wall for Lipinski. Centers up, Friel. A backhand pass for Nadeau was too high. Friel again gets it down low, working against Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's stick was kind of behind him. Here's Jurasevich, uses the wall, finds Lipinski. Good hit by Lavins. And he threw another one, in fact, on Nadeau.
That was a reverse hit. He was about to get laid out.
The more important one was on Lipinski, because that was in a spot that really easily could have been boarding, and he held off enough, but just gave enough of a hit to make it count without it being dangerous in a penalty. Under 3 minutes to go in the third. 1-0 New Hampshire on the goal by Cam McDonald. And look at the work from Ring. Ring's been really good in this third period for the Wildcats. The junior.
Pesky player, man.
Had 20 points last year for New Hampshire, up from 10 in his freshman year. Been really good, 7 points over his last 5 games. And active today. Holt bumped and out. Winters puts the pressure on. Just 2:14 left, and this building is somewhat stunned at the moment.
You have to start thinking about pulling your goaltender.
Yeah. Just, I think more than anything, how fast this period has gone. We've had like no whistles. Here is Holt. Can he get something? Russo starting to go now. That deflects out of play. 1:55 to go in the third, under 2 minutes, so we stay here. And Russo looks like he's going to...
You have to
he's
think
going to slide back out.
Maine's going to use their timeout here, you have to think. This would have been a TV timeout if the whistle came 5 seconds earlier. But after the 2 minute mark in the third period, you cannot take one, so Maine will use their timeout.
So with 1:55 remaining in the third period, and we can use this timeout to tell you that Hockey East on Nesson coverage continues tomorrow in a really good matchup on the women's side. Northeastern hosting Boston College in the final women's hockey game at historic Matthews Arena. Just about a little over a week left of that old storied building. 1:30 tomorrow, puck drop. Northeastern winning game 1 of this series against BC earlier tonight at Conti.
Northeastern's barn, that's a place I will miss. That was where I started my hockey career in high school, and Now, as a broadcaster, I called my last game there about a couple of weeks ago, and there's something about that barn.
Yep.
We'll miss that one.
Something about this barn
It's
as well.
very similar.
And they're trying to get their team back in it. They need a goal. This third period has been, so impressive by New Hampshire in some ways, so odd in some ways, just about how quickly we've gotten to this point with 1:55 to go. There were, 2 non-icing whistles since the goal.
Yes, correct.
So what does Maine have drawn up here out of the timeout? With Max Scott to take the face-off against Marty Lavins. Won by Maine. Holt from the outside. Save Chavette. Peterson gets to it. That's blocked by Carr, and it's knocked out of play.
Great block by Carr. That goes all the way into the stands. He's just coming sliding with the left skate there. Clean win here, though, off the face-off, and this was to work around to Holt the whole way. You wish you could get some traffic.
Look how high out Chavette was.
He was.
He didn't even have to move to make that save.
You'd like to have gotten some traffic there, and that's where Holt took that shot from. You didn't get the rest of the forwards the chance to go and create the problem traffic-wise. Now you will have
timeout, New Hampshire.
His timeout.
Do you like this here?
I do. You've seen what what Maine tried to do the first time. You've seen the personnel. You saw the look that they were going to take from the right-hand side. So you at least had some idea of what you're going to try to coach up here if you're Mike Souza.
Yes, I think you were looking for traffic, but also a pretty good job by Chavette to read what Maine was doing.
Get that puck into the corner.
So he was in position to make that save.
He controlled his rebound really well.
Exactly.
He knew exactly where that puck was going. Mike Souza is doing the drawing on the New Hampshire bench. Nobody really drawing up any plays on the Maine bench. I think they probably already discussed it the last time out.
Yeah, that's right. That's Rick Bennett, first year as an assistant for Maine, who's having a conversation right now. Ben Barr right behind him, drawing up a bit as well. That was the 4th shot on goal of the period for Maine. It's an anxious building right now, ready to erupt. Will their Black Bears give them a chance in the final 108 seconds? Down by 1. LeClaire and Scott for the face-off. This time it squirts free. Poirier's got it, plays it over Nadeau. It's knocked away. That's Philbrick who got his stick in. Holt now one-timer, knocked away Chavette. What a great save to keep it 1-0 for the moment. Nadeau plays it back. Poirier bobbled on his stick for a moment. Now Nadeau walking in, moving away from the pressure, and has Holt off his right foot. Brandon Holt spins a backhand down. Fowler centers up for Scott, was looking for a tip somewhere. Ends up working free to Poirier. Now it's Nadeau. His pass got knocked down, and it's flipped to center ice. Remember, the net empty here for Maine with 1:07 remaining.
Lavins took that puck and he just flipped it to the neutral zone. He didn't get off for a change. He didn't get the puck down. That's just small things there. You need to get that puck all the way down the ice.
53 seconds remaining and the puck pinned down behind the net. Taken away by Winters. Winters shooting for the empty net. He just missed. And Holt gets back for an icing.
There was an attempt there by Nick Ring to try to turn the Jets on as soon as that puck was sent down by Morgan Winters.
The other key piece, Jimmy, is that New Hampshire can't change because they already used their timeout.
Correct.
So that goes back to your point about not getting that initial puck down. So another huge face-off. It's Nick Ring against Max Scott. Scott has won 12 of 18 face-offs today for Maine. 45 seconds left. Philbrick gets it first. And it's knocked out by Lavins. Philbrick back on it for New Hampshire. It's out to center this time, and Lavins putting some pressure on. Poirier got a hit in. 28 seconds remaining. Maine trying to establish possession. Philbrick plays it backhand in deep. 20 seconds to go in the third period, and New Hampshire up 1. Is there one final look here for Maine? Josh Nadeau coming in against the wall. Carr pins him down. Excellent play by Alex Carr. Just 4 seconds remaining. Lavins has the puck. New Hampshire comes north and knocks off their rivals.
That is an inspired effort by this Wildcats team. They survived an early onslaught, rode their goaltender, rode 19 block shots, and a Cam McDonald goal here in the third period, the only marker of this game, and New Hampshire takes game 1 of this border battle.
In his season already, with some really, really great road wins for the New Hampshire Wildcats. This one is way up there. A wonderful victory. After Maine had all that pressure early in this game, New Hampshire plays a great, great third period. They are a 1-0 winner. And Allison is downstairs with the winning head coach, Mike Souza.
Thanks, Eric. Coach, congratulations on the win. Talk to me about the progression of this game and how everything came together for the win.
I thought Maine was a better team for 60 minutes, but I thought our kids hung in there. Cam McDonald makes a big play. Obviously, Chevette was excellent for us in net. Maine played on their toes. They had us on our heels. We weathered the storm, and kids made a play and got a win. It's a huge win for the program.
Now, there really are no standout teams in Hockey East. What'd you see out there tonight that can set your team apart from the rest?
They got a really good team, skilled team. Everyone's up, everyone's down. Let's hope that we can stay up for 2. We haven't been able to do that. Be nice to win a weekend with something we haven't done all year.
What's it going to take to get this sweep this weekend?
I think we're going to obviously have to play on our toes and try to get pucks behind their D. They got some really skilled players, kids that can skate. Put pucks behind their D, get on our forecheck, and we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations again. Back to you guys.
Allison, thank you so much. Great work by Allison Willette today. He's got to be really pleased with what his team put together today.
The road wins have such value. We've talked about that in college hockey. They have 3 great road wins on their resume right now, and they look to get a 4th one tomorrow night.
Here's the thing. I know we got to run. New Hampshire, if they can get this going, they have the wins on their resume and on their math equation that can become something in the NBA. They got to keep doing it. There's a long way to go. But this win, the UConn win, the Michigan State win, that's as good a trio as anyone has in this conference. New Hampshire with a 1-0 win over Maine. These two back at it tomorrow. Great night here at Alphon. Appreciate you joining us. Great work by our entire crew here up in Maine, led by Ryan Leffler and Marissa Tripp. For Allison Willette, Jim Connolly, the whole team at Alphon, Eric Galanti saying so long. Once again, your final score, New Hampshire 1 and Maine 0. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of Friday Night Hockey East on NESN.